What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, man. I hope you guys have had a great week, great weekend. Hope you guys enjoyed the holidays, New Year, and things like that. If you're participating in New Year's resolutions, I hope you guys are sticking with them. We are about a week into the new year, man. So I hope you guys are hitting every goal that you want, or at least starting to lay the steps to that. As you guys have seen, we haven't posted a lot with the holidays being here. I decided to take some time off, enjoy the time with family, watch some of the games, and just kind of sit back and reevaluate how I'm going to run the channel. There have been some ideas. There have been some reworkings in my mind. Obviously, we've bought some more equipment. We've got a new chair, so it's not squeaking as much in the video. That's a big thing. We also got a new camera, or a new phone for the camera. So we're working some things out. Had to take some step backs with the microphone because with the new phone that we got, it's not compatible with the mic. So we're working some things out here, but we're going to get it settled out. But let's dive in straight into today's video. It's the NBA Power Rankings. It's been a while since we did our last NBA Power Rankings for two reasons. One, with the NFL Power Rankings that we were doing, obviously, as you guys know, we're able to do it on a week-by-week basis. The NFL is more set up for that way. It's easier to judge teams on the one game they play a week versus the NBA where you might play up to 5 games in a week. It's pretty intense. It's pretty much a different schedule. And it's a different way to rank teams than how you do it in the NFL. So obviously, I would like to have done it in more specific increments. I believe that the last one I did was almost a month ago. So I want to be a little bit more frequent with that. But I feel like with that time off of the ranking system, we've been able to get an even better view of how these teams stack up in the NBA. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to start off with the number 10 team, the New York Knicks. The New York Knicks, most recently, they acquired with the Raptors a trade for OG Anunoby. They sent over RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley. They received OG Anunoby, Precious Achiuwa, Malachi Flynn, and I believe a couple other picks. It was a very big, very random trade in the middle of the year. Really not even in the middle yet, kind of the beginning half of the year in the NBA. You don't really see trades happen that early, but it happened, and I believe the Knicks have been better for it. The Knicks have played a lot better. I think their lineup is a little bit more rounded out better with the presence of OG Anunoby, great defender, great 3-and-D guy. So it's really been a different team up there in New York. They most recently played the Philadelphia 76ers pretty handily with the addition of OG Anunoby. So that's the reasoning they are in the number 10 spot. Moving on to number 9. We've got our first Western Conference team in the top 10. The Sacramento Kings. The Sacramento Kings are playing very well still. They're continuing the trend from last year. A lot of their players have taken even further steps forward, most notably Murray with his three-point shooting and being able to do a little bit more than just that. They're obviously in the top 6. They're a playoff team. They should continue to be a playoff team. There were some rumors about them trading for Pascal Siakam from Shams Charania of The Athletic this past week on Twitter. He was reporting on some things, most notably on Friday evening, that they had pulled out of the Siakam sweepstakes, if that's what you want to call it. From his sources, that's what he heard. They decided to pull away for a little bit. So we'll see if they can reconvene in trade talks in the future. But for right now, the Kings set at number 9. Moving on to number 8. We got the Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks are playing a lot better ball. Doncic is playing out of his mind recently. But, of course, with Luka Doncic comes the things about playing too much ball-dominant offense with him. Everything runs through him on that team because he is so talented. But there always have been questions about him and how his team will work around him. And with Kyrie Irving being such another player that needs the ball in his hands a lot and can do a lot with the ball in his hands, from playmaking to scoring, it hasn't been amazing from what we thought it could be when they first traded for him. But it's still going pretty well, enough for them to be a top 8 team in the NBA. Moving on to number 7 is the team that we just said that the Knicks pretty much destroyed. I believe it was 128-92 on Friday night. But the Philadelphia 76ers, the number 7 team in the NBA for a couple of reasons. One, Joel Embiid is still playing at an MVP level. Now, if you look over my right shoulder, you guys know that I am not a Philly fan by any stretch of the imagination. I am not a Joel Embiid fan at all. But the guy can play basketball. Obviously, he's an MVP. He's been in the running for the MVP award for the past couple of years, whether you believe he deserves it or not. That's where he's been at. And so with the steps that Tyrese Maxey has taken in these past couple of months. Obviously, he's playing really well. I do believe they're a piece away. I don't think that the piece is Zach LaVine. I've heard a lot of people saying that they're going to trade for him. I don't think that that's a good idea for the 76ers, but hey, if they want to do it, it makes one less team for the Celtics in the Eastern Conference. But you can't judge a team on one bad game, especially on a Friday after, I believe the Philadelphia 76ers were on a back-to-back and in New York. So it's hard to judge a team with a loss like that. That's why we don't do a power rankings every single week for the NBA. But I believe as it stands right now, Kelly Oubre has come back. He's still playing very well. Not as well as he was at the beginning of the season where he was just playing out of his mind levels of basketball, but he's still playing pretty well. And also he's coming off a really tough injury. So it's going to take some time to get him back fully healthy, I'm sure. And I'm sure we'll see some really good basketball out of Kelly Oubre again. That's why they're the number 7 team in the NBA. Moving on to the number 6 team, a team that was not in the last rankings, NBA power rankings, for the last video. The Los Angeles Clippers have won a string of games against some really, really good competition these past couple of weeks. Now that James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, and Paul George, Russell Westbrook, all the names of those guys over in Los Angeles have found a rhythm. They're playing some really, really good ball. The last 2 losses they've had have been without Kawhi Leonard, so that's a very big piece that you have to know going in when you're looking at their schedule, wherever you view it at ESPN. Man, you got to give credit where credit is due. I did not think this was going to work out, and so far after the rocky start, they've picked it up and played very, very well. Moving on, number 5, the Milwaukee Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks somehow, with all the struggles and fodder and conversation about what's going on the defensive side of the ball, how well they're meshing on the offensive side of the ball, and just the struggles from their 2 stars, Dame and Giannis. And I say struggles very lightly because they're still putting up numbers, but from what we expect from these guys, it hasn't been perfect. It hasn't been exactly what we thought the top-tier offensive play from these 2 guys yet. And somehow they're still a top 5 team in the NBA. Somehow they're the number 2 seed currently in the Eastern Conference. They have a plus 500 record, obviously. I believe they're 25 or 23-11. I, as a Celtics fan, am very worried about what happens when the Bucks, or if the Bucks, get this figured out on the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball. Now, obviously, trading away Drew for Dame, you're going to lose a little bit on the defensive side of the ball. I think we all knew that was coming. But I believe that they didn't expect it to be this bad. I don't know if they're looking for a trade this upcoming trade season. I'm not sure. I do think it would benefit them to get a nice defensive wing to kind of take over and at least cover up some of the mistakes that Damian Lillard makes on that side of the ball. But we'll see as we go forward. Right now, as it stands, they're the number 5 team in the NBA. Moving on to number 4, a really, really, really fun team that I believe you all should be watching if you have League Pass. The Oklahoma City Thunder. Now listen, this is very hard for me as a Celtics fan to continue to be an Oklahoma City Thunder fan, or not fan, but stan, and say that, look, these guys are good. The young guys are good. SGA is a very good young player. If you guys are on NBA Twitter, you know that the conversation between Jason Tatum and SGA, who's better, who's not, you know, all these things that get said on Twitter, I'm not a fan of because obviously I believe Jason Tatum is a top 5 player in the NBA, and I believe SGA is almost there as well. But I'm not going to let that discussion between idiotic fans on Twitter obscure my view of what I think of this team. They're a top 4 team in the NBA. The way they play defense is astounding. Chet is holding his ground against people we didn't think he was with the weight difference that he has. We obviously thought he was going to struggle a lot in his first year. And I think almost in a weird way, the injury at the beginning of his rookie year in the offseason kind of helped him fill out the NBA schedule, gain a little bit of weight, get into the gym, and have a full off-season training camp going into this season with all the off-season before work that he had put in. I think in a weird way, it might be a blessing in disguise for Chet. Obviously, we know what SGA is. He's a purified scorer. He's going to get whatever he wants inside and out. But I look at some of the other guys that have taken big steps. Notably, Jalen Williams has taken a big step forward as well, as we all kind of expected. And some of the other role players like Lou Dort and different guys like that. Josh Giddey, even though there's still this scandal going on, he's still playing basketball and still playing pretty well. So that's why I have them as the number 4 team in the NBA. The number 3 team in the NBA is a team that we all know is stacked from the inside and out. They've been a little up and down this season, but they're down is still the number 3 team in the NBA, the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets, there's not much to be said. They still have Nikola Jokic. They still have Aaron Gordon. They still have Jamal Murray. Even without Jamal Murray at the little bit that they had him, well, it wasn't even a little bit. It was a month. They didn't have this guy for a month. They were still winning games, still playing great basketball. I think it's a true testament to what Nikola Jokic is as a basketball player. So for those reasons, they're the number 3 team in the NBA. Moving on to number 2. Still, the Minnesota Timberwolves, man. The Minnesota Timberwolves are playing great basketball. It's very eerily similar, though, to the Utah Jazz when they had Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell for 2 reasons. One, they have a young up-and-coming scorer, playmaker, all-around guy, Anthony Edwards, just like how Utah had Donovan Mitchell. And Rudy Gobert is on this team. Obviously, he was on the Utah Jazz. And so he's still playing really good defense like he was in Utah. But the big thing in Utah was they would have great regular seasons. And then they would fizzle out in the second round. Now, is Anthony Edwards probably better than Donovan Mitchell? Sure. Is Rudy Gobert still Rudy Gobert? Yes. Does Minnesota have better pieces around them than what the Utah Jazz had? Yes. So I'm not saying it's an apples-to-apples comparison, but I'm just saying it's very similar to what was going on in Utah. So we will have to wait and see how that plays out. But they're the number 2 team in my power ranking because we have to see how it plays out. We don't officially know. So I think for what's going on and how eerily similar it is, they're still playing great basketball. The defensive side of the ball is really what sticks out when you watch them. The offense is clearly ran through Anthony Edwards, which it should be. There's no wrong thing to do with that. But I think when you watch them, it's more noticeably how great they are on the defensive side of the ball. So for those reasons, they're the number 2 team in the NBA in this power ranking list. Moving on to the number 1 team. You know who it is. You know who it is. The best duo in the league. You've got the best defense, the best offense in the league. It's ridiculous. KP is playing out of his mind. Derek White is an all-star. Argue with me in the comment section. That guy is an all-star. You've got people that are coming off the bench that shouldn't be playing like they are, but they are. Sam Hauser's putting up great numbers. Peyton Pritchard is playing good basketball. Now, is it consistent? No. But when he plays good, it is a big-time help for the Celtics. And listen, I know I'm going to get a lot of hate. Bring it on. I don't care. We'll argue all day long in the comments below. That's what I want. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to talk with you guys and have a healthy argument and all that. So, those are the top 10 teams in the NBA power rankings, man. Hit up my Twitter. Hit up my Instagram. Hit up my Discord. All that stuff is down below in the links in the comment section below. Also in the description. So make sure you guys hit those. Give me a follow. Let me know what you guys think, where I'm wrong, where I'm right. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.